And welcome guys back to the channel. This is Maverick here with episode 17 of No Guns Life. So, from the end of last episode, we've pretty much put the situation with Victor to at least a temporary rest, and Juzo has finally got his two arms back as well, courtesy of some pretty damn cool transformation, extended wizardry, if you will. You know, it doesn't really make sense, in terms of the, in terms of actual physics and whatnot, but hey, it's cool, right? And something I always say is that the rule of cool trumps everything. So, in this episode, I expect Juzo to basically be searching for Tetsuro and have his direct run-in with the Spitzbergen, right? And possibly, we will also get to learn a little bit more about the true backstory of Tetsuro, you know, the memories that he's missing and whatnot, and why exactly he was helping Spitzbergen in the first place, right? Like, does he also hate the Extended and wants to wipe out all the Extended as well? Potentially so. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if it would turn out to be like a double whammy and there was another layer of thinking behind it either. And beyond that, there are some other things we need to look forward to, such as Seven's inevitable duel with Juzo, Seven being another Gunslave unit, and then we can see a little bit of the New Guard versus the Old Guard, right? So, in any case, let's jump right into the episode and see what's up. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Episode 17. Have guns. How did you win the political struggle? Come on, Olivia. You can try. Information. Yeah. Released, eh? She's certainly persistent about this data. I mean, a reasonable compromise to this would not be to hand over data until Tetsuro and Chris are both safely back beside Juzo. But we'll see. It seems like this data is really becoming a big deal here. If I recall, it had like the truth behind the the what's he called again? Mega Armed? You know, that hero? There we go. This is the 7 versus Juzo fight. Then maybe then we'll see both of them actually utilize their full powers. And show us what a gunslave unit can actually do. Noborot. That's actually a name for a wine, a type of wine. Are you sure you're not just watching Bouncy Bouncy Bounce? Which is? These are Spitsbergen? Just like that. Well, aren't you a shrewd one? I actually wasn't expecting her late today. Contained by her. Aww. Well, she's infatuated. I like how the hand is just always like dancing in a way. I think something might happen. Oh, you're saying she saw Giselle with Olivia? Seriously, where are you watching, dude? Is this guy just literally a pervert? I kind of get the feeling that he's nobody important. Or am I wrong? This kind of feels like a gag episode. Oh, and here's another one that's kind of infatuated with Juzo. Oh, feeling jealous. It's like, I can do maintenance work for Juzo too! Oh. Oh, I'll let her. Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that this guy's just a pervert. Definitely just a pervert. Okay. This, let me guess. He either has X-ray vision or okay. He's basically, I get it. He's shooting voyeur voyeur videos and selling them. Uh. Oh my god. Well, this episode is actually giving me a big Gintama kind of vibe here. Ah, there's Mary. 。She knows what his eyes are, right? This thing. Yep. X-ray vision. Yep. X-ray version. And just putting it out there right now, I had a feeling that Rosa's gonna come back and find and find Jizo looking at this for another misunderstanding. The horrors of extinction technology. Oh my. Yeah, selling these videos or pictures. Although it seems that his X-ray vision doesn't work on videos, so he can't actually shoot videos with. This episode is such a farce. Ah, he's overheating. He's overworking his submarine. Is he staring directly at his crotch? Oh. Aw. So basically, this is kind of like a filler episode. He was able to see like the full innards of Juzo, right? Like how complex the machinery in there is. Oh, opening up at this point in time? Alright. Oh, it does make great wine. Makes some very expensive wine. Yoborat. So we're turning serious all of a sudden? Alright. Oh, hey Tetsuro. Welcome back. Okay, so I guess Rosa didn't really show up again at the end. I mean, I was fully expecting it to carry out this entire farce. The whole episode. Anyways, see you guys after this. Alrighty, so that was an interesting episode to say the least, and honestly, it's not that I don't enjoy it, but I'm very, very intrigued as to why they made the decision to animate this particular chapter from the manga, right? Because, well, obviously, it is a little bit of fan service, it provides a little bit of a comedy, and it does, I guess, have some sort of relationship to the main story because we learn about Tetsuro and how he was released, and of course at the very end we see Tetsuro coming back as well, and then there's this entire thing with Juzo having this commentary about how, you know, some extends could be used for good, some extends, nothing good comes out of them, you know, that entire matter there, right? And to be honest, I don't hate this sort of, intertwining these sort of gag episodes, these farces within these serious moments. I think I've brought up this before, but the past few episodes did feel to me kind of like Gintama, which is one of my favorite series of all time, and how, you know, they try to make the main character, you know, get into some pretty, some pretty sketchy situations, but still coming out of it looking cool and collected, and with these very, very profound quotes as well, right? And it gives off a similar vibe here as well, where, you know, at a moment's notice, anything that is, you know, just a a comedy or a gag or something can instantly turn serious, and then, you know, things are getting serious, let's get down to business, right? One of the main things I love about Gintama so much is how it transitions from being serious to being very absolutely ridiculous seamlessly. And I think that's what we're seeing here as well. Now, obviously, I do believe the No Guns Life manga might even be earlier. Although don't quote me on that. I just feel like it gives a more of an older kind of manga, a sort of vibe, especially because, you know, how it does a lot of things more old school, I guess you could say. But it could be a more modern work. I mean, I'm not entirely sure on that point, to be honest. So, it's not that I don't like that. It's just that I feel like this is, obviously, this is a series that's only going to have, maybe like 24 episodes or something like that, right? Or maybe 26. And why waste valuable time in animating this kind of episode when you could literally be using this time to talk more about the backstory, Juzo's backstory, Tetsuro's backstory, what was Tetsuro doing during his time in Spitsbergen. So this is clearly more of a filler kind of material, even though there are some elements of the main storyline here. It's not that prominent, and they could have easily shortened that part as well. So to the best of my guessing, I would say it's either to provide some fan service, because we did get to see the hot girls of the series in their undies, if you will, and then of course it could also be a case where the end of the season is already there's basically not a good cutoff point before they enter into another arc, right? So they do have to have filler to sort of fill in the blanks so that they can end on a logical point there. I do believe the manga has like 50 or so chapters already, so it shouldn't be a case where there's not enough material here. So yeah, whatever. Like I said, it's kind of fun, so I'm not going to rag on it too much. I just feel like they could have used this time a lot better to explain a lot of other things, if you will. What else is there to talk about from this episode? Oh, I will say though, just an interesting kind of thing here. So I did go back and I'm not reading a manga per se, but I did skim through it a little bit just to see if there's any differences here, if it's maybe a little bit more gorish, or maybe it's a little bit more provocative in for instance the sexy shots and whatnot. But I think it's pretty much the same, although I have to say I actually think the anime looks better than the manga, especially the way that the girls are drawn, like Rosa and Scarlet and Mary as well. They look a lot hotter, I feel, in the anime than they do in the manga, so I guess that's a good thing to come out of this series, right? What else? Oh, and then I guess the final part that we can talk about is the entire noble rot kind of thing, right? Obviously we can see what Juzo's trying to say here at the very end. People, some extended, their extensions carry multiple purposes. Even if it's not in a war setting, they can still use it for good. They're still useful. Whereas Juzo is basically saying, hey, I'm a machine, I'm an extended design for war. If there's no war, then I really can't help people. So for the sake of peace and prosperity and everything, there's not really much I can do, right? There's not really much my extensions can do. Whereas Mary is basically saying, hey, if you can use it, there's always going to be some show of force necessary, right? It's not like we can completely turn into a pacifist kind of city or society or whatnot. So you have your uses. I do find it kind of funny that they're using noble rot as the term to describe this. Obviously, Juzo's explanation is the soldiers feel like they're doing noble things, but in reality they are just a rotting part of the army or something like that. Whereas the actual noble rot comes from more of a viniculture, right? Winemaking, if you will. So it's a type of process that basically, not to get into too much of specifics of it, but basically it's letting grapes grow some fungus, letting it rot literally, although under a more sort of controlled situation. And the type of wine that's made, the most popular is probably something called ice wine, which you guys might have heard of. Ice wine doesn't actually mean wine that's that you put on, that you freeze or anything. It's a specific type of wine that's very, very sweet, typically a dessert wine and all that, and it goes through this process. And it's a very complex, well, no, I shouldn't say it's a complicated process, but it's a very hard to control process. So that's why wines made in this manner are typically quite expensive, right? Because the chance of failure is high, and it could just turn out into be a completely, the grapes that the wine are made out of could be completely rotten and whatnot. So they need to have impeccable timing and whatnot in order for it to turn into something that's actually really, really valuable. Now, obviously, Juzo's explanation is one thing. I'm pretty sure the author probably had this kind of deeper meaning into it when he or she made this titled this particular chapter, titled this particular episode, right? I think it's again going from real world Nova Rod and basically saying, hey, even though it seems on the surface kind of, because the grapes that are infected by this, they look kind of ugly and whatnot, and hey, it seems like a bad thing, but in reality, if properly utilized, if properly used, and they can survive the harsh conditions to the end there, it's going to turn out to be a great product that is sweet and that is of very high quality and value, right? So there is probably this sort of reference to that there. But yeah, the more you guys know, right? I actually have an interest in wine, so that's why I know about this. But hey, it's I think it's pretty fun that I'm able to share that within the context of this episode as well, when they literally title it Nova Rod, right? So, anyways, that's it for episode 17, and we see that Tetsuro is back. Well, I do hope that he hasn't been brainwashed or anything, or I guess the biggest thing that could happen is that he regained his memories, and then possibly we get into a big confrontation between Tetsuro and Juzo once again, which is, I guess, something I'm looking forward to, and we'll probably see in the next episode. So there we go. That's it for No Guns Life episode 17. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys next week as well. Bye-bye.